Hey, I wanted to talk about pain. Um, because surprisingly, that's like a part of being a developer is about making yourself strong against pain. So what do I mean? I was working on this thing today. I was working on this music thing. Let me show it to you. Um, here it is. Like it's a bunch of code to make a like little drum loop, and it was working okay. Um, it was working okay. If I comment this out and you save that, like it was like playing. Okay, but like that was code I borrowed from someone else, but it sounded good. So then I was like, okay, I just want to loop it. I just want to loop it. And so I was like, okay, like loop like this. And then it wouldn't play at all. And so then I was like, okay, well, I'll just comment this out. I'll just say, like, just loop. And, like maybe I'm not setting the loop start time right. And, so then I'm like, okay, run that. And that's what it does! What the fuck? And the thing of it is, like, that's pain. Like, I've been writing software for years. I feel like I'm okay at it. I'm not great. But, you think that you can really get to a point where you're not going to experience, you're going to be okay at it, And I've fucked up stuff in the carpentry studio, and I've fucked up stuff while I'm welding or whatever, but it doesn't usually go like that. It's not usually like, you're like, oh, well, instead of, 3 nails, I'm gonna try 4 nails, then the whole goddamn thing explodes, right? Like, and, we don't like doing stuff that we're bad at. And sometimes when you're writing code, you're just not good. You're certainly not good right at the start. And frankly, with the way that the market is and the way that kind of basic tasks very often get, automated out or abstracted out and stop existing, the fact is that, it's not like carpentry. I mean, I feel like I'm shit-talking carpenters, which I'm not, or don't mean to be. But like, whatever space there is for someone who makes wood objects by hand, if you get good at the first few objects, you can continue making those objects forever. But in general, the thing with automated processes is you get good at doing something in one way, and that what you're good at will get automated out. Anyway, you got to keep getting better. The point is you got to keep getting better, which means you keep having to work in stuff that you're not good at. And so that is painful. And I've heard tell that people who are like crazy successful in life, they get to some painful thing like this and they're like, ooh, yes, I love this. I want to keep doing this more. And that's how you get like, people who write like AI libraries and other shit that I don't have any idea how to do. Yeah. So, but that's not the life of most developers. Most developers, you're not there like solving these world-ending puzzles, and you're not like frustrated all the time, but you are frustrated sometimes. And learning hands-on really is about a little bit of frustration. So, I mean, that's just the reality. The reality is that part of making software is pain. Yeah, I don't know. I can't sugarcoat that too much. Now, there are ways around this, okay? For most well-documented stuff, there exist tutorials that are step-by-step in the same way that your tutorial for making pancakes is step-by-step, right? There's no like, here's flour, here's sugar, you work it out, you mix these together to make something satisfying, right? You can go and see, hey, do this, do this, do this, and this will get you through the first few times. Right now, I'm trying to learn Blender, and I'm following this pretty famous Blender tutorial where you're making this donut, and it's very much like, yeah, a little bit of it, you have a little choice, but essentially you go through it, and it really is, hey, go do this piece, then do this piece, then click on this tool, then use this exact key combo, and that can help make this first part, which is very painful, easier. And in fact, I recommend if you're starting out your first few years in development, you really should stick with stuff that's that well documented. This library that I'm trying to use, Tone.js, it is really well documented. I mean, it has a very full API documentation. It just doesn't have an absolute beginner's tutorial as far as I know. So I'm trying to do these very first few things where I'm controlling loops and stuff. There are examples, but they're not for the absolute ranked beginner. So, I'm gonna keep working on it and I'm gonna do my best, but that's the reality of, okay, so looking at the tutorial that's step by step, that's just sort of you're making an example first, that can really help deal with that pain. Another way to deal with that pain is do take it in small chunks, like absolutely beating your head against the wall for hours at a time, that can be really tough. So maybe take that time to go and say, okay, it's time to go do something I am good at to kind of remind myself where I'm at and come back. If you're totally frustrated, taking breaks is also just key. Like if you're really stuck, you're probably just looking at it from one perspective, and a little bit of sleep and a little bit of food will very often like reawaken the brain, come back to it. What else do I do to deal with that pain? Acknowledge that it is pain. Acknowledge that it is pain. That's a big one. Is like, what can I say? Like, if you go to the doctor and they have to remove a mole and it hurts, afterwards you're like, how's your day? You're like, oh, I was in some pain. And so if you want to lie down and watch TV afterwards, it's like, yeah, of course you're in some pain today. Give yourself that space to feel that feeling, and then you're able to move on from it. Because a lot of the time, especially if you're in a junior dev job, maybe if you're like from a working class background, people are like, oh boy, you must have it great. You must have it so easy. You must be having fun there. And the fact that you experienced pain today, you're going to be like, I was in pain, So these are the things that I would think about to try and treat that pain. Anyway, yeah, thanks for checking this out. This is kind of the first thing where I'm like posting a commentary on YouTube. I'm going to see how it goes. I hope you all like it.